Good evening. Tonight I'm going to talk with you about the evolution of consciousness. In the science of mind, consciousness is used in a couple different ways. In one sense, it's used to describe the subjective creative substance or power from which all things are demonstrated. And in another sense, it's used to describe our own objective awareness or understanding. In this talk tonight, I mean to be talking to you about the unveiling of my own personal awareness. I had an experience I'd like to share with you recently. I had the opportunity to assist Reverend Josh in a foundations class. And what was really fascinating is that it had been exactly 4 years since I myself took foundations. From foundations, I took a class every term since then, and I am now a licensed practitioner and am in ministerial school. But what I found to be even more fascinating was how far I had come from that first class. When I entered into my foundations class, I had hit rock bottom. I was seemingly broken. I was filled with pain, sadness. I was tortured. I had so many struggles. And it just so happened that I had moved to California, and I moved right next to a Center for Spiritual Living. And they just so happened to be offering foundations class at the time. And there was something in me, there was something in my heart that just knew that this was where I needed to be. I was scared, I was nervous, I didn't talk to anyone, but I knew that I belonged in this class. And I had two of the most amazing practitioners in this to facilitate this class. And these two women, they changed my life forever. They saw something in me. They saw something in me that I absolutely could not see myself at that time. And they loved me, and they told me how good and how special and how beautiful I was. And they told me that it didn't matter what I had been through, that it didn't matter that I was still smoking a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. It didn't matter that I was completely overweight and still detoxing from drugs and alcohol. That it didn't matter all of the things that I had done and ways I had covered up myself. That who I was something so unchangeable, so perfect and good, that nothing else mattered, that I could live in this truth if I chose to, and I could let go of all of the anger and all of the pain. This was exactly what my soul longed to hear, because I took their words and I ran with them. In Practicing the Presence, Joel Goldsmith explains that true spiritual healing is not something that takes place in one's affairs or in one's body, but that it takes place in the consciousness of the individual as the soul expands. Everything embraced within consciousness responds as the soul is open to the light of truth. These teachers of mine, they simply spoke their truth, which is my truth, which is the truth of each and every one of us here tonight. The light of that truth filled my life, and I began to see things more clearly. There is something that I've come to understand about this evolution of consciousness, about this evolution of myself, that it takes time. It takes time to understand, to come to new insights and revelations of what this life means to me. I recognize now, I recognize that God, or life, or this great good, which is our essence, it's our truest self, that it can never be separate from us. We can never be separate from our good. We can absolutely never be separate from life. But it is our awareness of this truth. It is our understanding of this that expands and grows over time. 4 years ago, I also had a vision of myself as a minister. I could feel the pull, the call to ministry, to serve. But I had absolutely no idea how this was going to happen. I had zero faith in myself. I just held on. I listened to what people had to say. And I had faith in the words that Ernest Holmes has written, not because they're his words, but because they moved me. And I have a faith, and I use the principles of the science of mind, not because I am told to, but because I have grown by using them to have a conviction of their truth as a foundation in my life. I now understand that my vision for myself, it will see fulfillment. But it is through daily, momentary evaluation and reevaluation of my mind, of my thoughts, of my actions. It is a constant reassessment. I'm constantly asking myself, am I in alignment with who I say I am? Am I in integrity with my highest vision for myself? All of these things over time and practice have slowly evolved into this woman that you see today, who might be so very nervous to get up here and talk with you, but who knows that this is where Spirit has called me, and who might be shy and intimidated at times, but who is pushed and pulled from within to do things that I am scared to do. There is something greater than my current understanding of myself that is trying to express itself through me. What I've come to understand about this evolution of my life, of consciousness, is that it is expanding and growing in direct proportion to our ability to recognize what is working in our lives and let go of what is not. It is growing and expanding in direct proportion to our ability to think for ourselves, to evaluate and reevaluate our personal beliefs, our words, our thoughts, our ideas, what we say we believe. It is growing and expanding in direct proportion to our ability to surrender our ideas to greater ideas. In How to Use the Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes asks the questions: can we turn from poverty and want to an acceptance of abundance? Can we turn from sickness to health? Can we turn from discord to an acceptance of abundance? Can we shut out discord long enough to contemplate harmony? These are the kinds of questions that I am faced with every day. And I believe we're all faced with these questions from time to time. But this, I believe, this is where and how the evolution of our consciousness takes place. But how does it work? How do we turn from unhappiness to happiness? How in the world are we supposed to shut out discord long enough to contemplate harmony? Ernest Holmes goes on to say that the effective practitioner in this science has the will to try, the courage to make the attempt, the faith to believe in himself because he has a confidence in the law of good. And the simplicity of this conviction is enhanced when he realizes he has nothing to change outside himself. I think that's my favorite part. I just want to repeat it one more time. The simplicity of this conviction is enhanced when he realizes he has nothing to change outside himself. So what does this mean? I believe this means we try. I believe it means we attempt to see the good and release the bad. We try to step out of the darkness and into the light. We try and we try and we just keep on trying. This is what I do, and this is what I encourage us all to do. Just keep trying. And so, to conclude, back to my original story, here I am in this class 4 years later, still filled with struggles and uncertainties, still Nicole, still unsure of how all of her larger-than-life dreams are going to become reality, but with an expanded perception, an expanded understanding that all I have to do is try. Even if I'm scared, even if I think I'm going to fail, I just make the attempt. And I encourage you all to do the same thing with whatever it is in your life that you reach for, that you think might be impossible or just a dream. Please hear me now and know this. You are good. You are worthy. And you are worth the attempt. I know that we are all called to something that asks more of us than we feel we're capable of. I dare you to reach for it, and I dare you to fail, and I dare you to reach for it again. Because the secret to fulfillment, the secret to the evolution of consciousness, it's really always in the attempt. And so it is.